Hey, hey, I'm live. I am live. I'm live. Let me see if I can get my camera set up the way it should be. Yeah. Hey there, friends. Sunday, April 1st. I don't do April Fool's jokes, so sorry about that. I figured I'd just pop in here, do a little live stream, see who shows up, and we'll just go from there. What do I want to talk about? I really don't know. I'm going to tell you guys some of what's coming up this week on the channel. I've got a review of Ready Player One. I've done movie reviews every once in a while. I don't do them very often, and usually only when I really give it in. And Ready Player One was one of my favorite books, one of my favorite like geek books of all time. So I really want to check out how that. I want to talk about how that movie came out compared to the book and whether or not it's a good movie. So I got a video coming out about that. I've got iPhone 10 versus Samsung Galaxy S9 coming out this week. I've also got iPhone 10 after 6 months coming out this week. So that's what I got going on. Yeah. So we got one person coming in. If there's anything you want to see me do, feel free to go ahead and let me know, and perhaps I will do it. In the meantime, let's look at the news. Samsung Galaxy S8 Active is now getting the Android Oreo update. What I would really like to know is if that gives you the same kind of intelligent scan features as the S9, or is it just more software-based stuff? I am not sure. So that's what I'd like to know. But yeah, I'm tempted by the Galaxy S8. I really am, because the S9 is kind of annoying me. Add a micro SD card slot with this Lexar accessory. I guess Lexar is making an accessory for micro. It's a lightning reader. It's just a little dongle, as are all things with the iPhone. A little dongle. European travelers. Roomba of toilets exists. Hey, insane clown posse. What's going on, man? How you doing? So, Roomba of toilets exists only to clean your skid marks. Interesting. It's called a toy bot. And it's supposed to clean the toilet bowl, I guess? Yeah, it's supposed to clean the toilet bowl. It, I guess, cleans what's left after you have done the flushing. I don't know. Sometimes I just like to look at Flipboard and see what I can find. LG G7. We got some renders of the LG G7. They have leaked. Yeah, I don't know. Yes, I'm back live. Last night, the game streaming thing was just, I haven't quite figured out the best way to make that work. So I'm here just doing a live stream, seeing what people have to say, seeing what questions they have. I'm flipping through some Flipboard news stuff. The Galaxy, or the LG, low volume. Hey, okay. How's that? Better? Better? $1,100 for a 2017 iMac 21-inch, 8 gigs of RAM. Is it an i5 chip? I'm guessing it is. $1,100 is not a bad price for that, I guess. Yeah. I mean, they're good computers. 8 gigs of RAM makes me a little nervous, and you can't upgrade like you can on the 27-inch, unfortunately. But for if you're not using it for like heavy video rendering or gaming or anything like that, it would be an absolutely great computer, and that price is not bad at all. I don't know what they go for normally new, but that's a good price. Yeah, I'm looking here at this LG G7, and let's see if I can add a window so we can all see. There it is. Let's make the window a little smaller so it doesn't cover my whole face. So this is the G7. It looks like an LG phone. It looks like everything else, everybody else's phones. So if it's $1,300 new, yeah, I would go for that. It's I assume it's lightly used or on sale or something like that. Will I be buying the Galaxy Note 9 in August? Yes. Yes, though it might pain me to do so. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually looking forward to it because there are certain things about the S9 and S9 Plus that annoy me that I'm hoping it's possible that the Galaxy Note 9 might take care of. So here's these renders of the Galaxy or the G7. I don't know. I guess they're not going to call it anything different. It has a notch. It has a notch. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? So yeah, I will be picking up, excuse me, the Note 9. Looking forward to it. As I was saying before anybody got in here, I have a S9 Plus versus iPhone 10 video coming out this week. I just finished writing the script for that, and I have an iPhone 10 after 6 months video coming out this week, as well as a review of the movie Ready Player One. I don't do a ton of reviews of films. I don't talk about films a lot on my tech channel, but this is it's a tech-related movie, and it's super geeky. What would I like to see in the Note 9? A 4,000 milliamp hour battery. That's what I'd like to see in the Note 9. That's about the long and short of it. I am so annoyed with all of this stuff. Yeah, Joseph, I've been liking the notes as well for all of time. I think I had the first, if I didn't have the first note, I had the second note and then the third note. And then I think I had the first and second and maybe the 4. I skipped the 5 and went back to when it came out, when the 7 came out, bought that twice, had to send it back twice. The Note 8 was my number one phone for 2017. However, the security input stuff getting into the phone just was so problematic and so annoying for me because I have super secure email for my work because I work for a university, but my email is tied to a healthcare server. So, you know, the fingerprint reader just wouldn't work for me. Bradders White, thanks, man. Thanks for being here. Thank you for subbing. Christian, hey. You always say hey when you come in. So, but it's good to see you. How are you doing? Yeah, the Note 8 is a great phone. I really can't complain about it at all. But the problem, I could not get the fingerprint reader to work reliably for me, and the only other option that I could use, because they didn't have the intelligent scan, was a password, and I don't know. It annoyed me, so I had to give it up. But the S9 Plus and the S9 before it, I did get an S9 Plus because the friggin' battery was so terrible. But yeah, the S9 Plus and S9 with that intelligent scan that uses face recognition and iris scanning is is really working well for me. So I'm feeling good about that. But the battery life is atrocious. So I don't know. It's not all that fun. Um, let's see. Well, I can't really understand Viper. I can't really understand this, proliferation of the notch either. And if there's some functionality that's necessary for it to work, I don't know. I don't see them competing with the iPhone. They can't be trying to keep up with the iPhone because the majority of people hate the notch on the iPhone. So why would they want to put something on the? Well, Samsung does put Bixby on their phones, and most people don't like that. So, Joseph Burbo, thanks for being a new sub, man. I really do appreciate it. The Dell Pocket Organizer, back in the day. Yep. And I had a Palm Pilot that also had a stylus back in that day. I loved mine because it was like clear, translucent plastic. You could see all the insides. It was a very cool device. I thought I was the coolest man on earth carrying that thing around. Yeah, well, I mean, there's going to be a lot of Android phones that I'm not interested in this year if they all have these notches. I think Samsung has set the tone for what Android phones can look like and do this year. So it will be disappointing if some of the bigger companies, the better companies, start doing this notch thing. Yeah, I believe that Apple did have to include the notch to make all that Face ID stuff work. And that Face ID stuff is, I don't know, when the Note 8 sort of just quit being feasible for me to use, I went back to the iPhone 10 and I've been using it for the past couple of months, and Face ID is probably my favorite feature. It is a little slow to unlock, but not terribly so. The big deal for me with Face ID is being able to use it inside of the phone, like to unlock apps, to do all that kind of stuff. And it's just, I hate putting passwords in or having to search for passwords in my password managers or any of that kind of thing. Face unlock is incredible. So, Bradders, you got Easter weekend, you bought some, oh yeah, you got the Stingers and they still haven't made it. That's a bummer, man. I hate it when you've got a nice sort of relaxing weekend and the thing that you want to fool around with it didn't make it. I've been there many times. Yeah, Viper, I think that Apple is gonna make Face ID considerably faster at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if the next iPhones don't have a much improved version of Face ID in terms of speed, and I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll even see some kind of cutting back of the notch. Who knows? I'd love to see Apple go like no notch after all these Android phones go notch. That would be fun. I've been wanting to try those Lucid Sound headphones for a while, but I just haven't got to them. The only ones that I ever saw in the wild, like at my local Best Buy or anything, were the Lucid Sound L20s, I think they were. I wanted to try the 40s, the nicer ones, and I kept trying to contact the company. They would never get back to me, and so I got annoyed. Do I play HQ Trivia? I have been tempted to play HQ Trivia. I've never been a huge mobile gaming guy. But trivia is my jam, as they say, and I'm pretty good at everything that doesn't require like knowledge of science or math. I can be pretty deadly in the trivia. So I may grab that app again. I had it on my phone once, and then I switched phones and didn't get it back on, but I never played. Thanks, Bradders. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, HyperX does make really good headphones, gaming headsets. I've been using the alphas just really as headphones for a while now, like just plugging them into my PC or my computer or my Mac or whatever, and they sound great. They feel great, and yes, they're not stereo, but if you use them on a Windows machine, you can get that Windows stereo. Sean, what's going on, man? You didn't get the live notification? I've heard that the notification system is kind of screwed up right now, which stinks. I don't know. YouTube seems to have things break or stop working all the time. I don't understand it. There was some weirdness going on with subscribers earlier in the week. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to fix something, but it's a drag. I mean, if people go to the point to hit that bell notification, you know, it's because they want to come check out whatever's going on, and if it doesn't get there, then that really does nobody any good. So, do I keep my headset? Should you keep your headset plugged in overnight or no? Are you talking about like if you're charging it? I don't think it'll make a huge difference if you're charging it. Most devices that use lithium-ion batteries now have some kind of system where once it's charged, it kind of shuts down or just trickles. So I don't think it would make a big deal. Yeah, the Cloud 2s are pretty awesome. I don't have a pair right now. I wish I did so I could compare them to the alphas, but they're really good headphones as well as gaming headset, not a doubt. Marshall, man, I was thinking about that too because, like I said, one thing I've really been enjoying the S9 Plus, but the one thing that's really frustrating me is the battery life, and I've been thinking, like, you can get a Pixel 2 XL for pretty cheap right now. I think I saw I could get one on AT&T for like $19 a month. So, for me, it makes more sense to buy stuff outright, but I don't always have the money on hand to buy stuff outright. Hey, Victorious, thank you so much for the £5 super chat, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. That's very cool. Yeah, ask questions. That's why I'm here. Ask me questions. I just figured I was hoping to make a video today. I wrote 3 scripts and then I was just kind of burned out, so I figured I'd just jump on here and do an hour or so worth of live stream to see what you guys had to say. Sean Simon, hey, welcome to the channel, my friend. I appreciate it very much. Glad you're here. Pixel 2 XL. I had the Pixel 2 XL when it first came out, and it had that really bad blue shift. But now, as far as I know and what I've seen, the blue shift is fixed. So, I don't know. Pixel or Note? I mean, that's a hard question, man. Like, the Note phones are such a special niche. I don't know why YouTubers can't say niche. Everybody says niche. Niche would be spelled N-I-T-C-H. Niche, N-I-C-H-E. I don't know. I like the Pixel phones, but they are a little boring compared to something like the Samsung phones, which they're sort of everything in the kitchen sink phones. The S9 and S9 Plus are the first Samsung phones where I've been able to get them sort of within the span of less than a week. I've been able to make them work for me, whereas I always felt like I still had to be tweaking and fussing around with it weeks in. iPad Pro or MacBook Pro when it comes to daily normal stuff? Music mainly. I mean, the iPad Pro, there's a lot good about the iPad Pro. If you want to do some light if you want to do some light productivity, like email and that kind of stuff, and browse the web, it's really a great device. This current crop of MacBook Pros, I just wasn't super impressed with them. I mean, they're very good computers, but this year's crop of MacBook Pros are overpriced for what they are. I mean, they jumped the price of those things by like $400 or $500 this year as compared to 2015. I have a 2015 that was nowhere near as expensive, and yeah. Hey Joseph, no problem, man. Thank you for being here. I haven't tried. Is the GSP 350 that surround sound like little box, or is it it's a headset, right? I haven't tried those. I did try the 373Ds, which were USB, and I like those a lot. They're really good. I still kind of want to get like either the Game Zeros or the Game Ones. I haven't decided which one I want to get. But I mean, Sennheiser makes just fantastic headphones. I'm wearing my Sony Studio headphones right now, but I've got my HD 600s right across the room, and yeah. So I think any Sennheiser is worth trying out. Yes, Viper, I do agree that that the Pixel phones are, they're sort of more cohesive. Like, they work in a cohesive way more than the Samsung phones do. Samsung has just always sort of had way too much stuff and way too many choices. My daily driver right now, at least for the time being, is the S9 Plus, and I am enjoying it. But as I said a little earlier, the battery is even with the Plus model, is not great. The Sony XZ2. I haven't looked at Sony phones before, but I know a lot of people really like the Sony phones, so I might try it out. It's just, they're not like as easy to grab onto as like something that's coming out on a major carrier. KP1877, thank you for the super chat, my friend. I appreciate it. Let me see. Let me back up here. A7S3 leak. No, I haven't seen the leak, but I have been talking to some people about the A7S3 and the A7R3 too. I can't remember, but Sony makes some incredible cameras. I used the A6300 for quite a while, and then I broke the kit lens and went to try and find something to replace it, and everything that I wanted was well over $500, and it just occurred to me that I can't afford to use those cameras yet. So I have a G7, Panasonic G7 that I use here as my like webcam, and then I have a Canon T6i that I got a couple of good lenses for, and that seems to be working for me right now. Let's see. Yeah, Sean, Razer headsets have never been as good as Razer wants them to be, I guess. I think they can do better, but they don't. What do I think about the Facebook debacle? Jeez, Christian, man. I feel really conflicted because it's like all of my worst fears about what Facebook was capable of are coming true. But yet at the same time, like, I don't do Facebook a ton, but I have so much of the past 10 years of my photos and memories and connections with people and everything like that I find it really hard to just say, well, I'm done. I'm gonna get off of Facebook. But they aren't doing anything that I didn't expect they were capable of doing, but they are, I don't know, they are showing that they could potentially be very evil. Viper, I agree that Samsung is just too scared to put bigger batteries in their phones right now, but yet they get a 4,000 milliamp hour battery in the Active series. I don't care if the phone is slightly thicker. In fact, I think that could help the design of some of these thinner, taller phones like the S9. A little bit of edge to them could really help in the hold on to it department. So if that's what it takes to get an extra 500 milliamp hours in there, I don't think anybody would mind, because it's much more annoying to have a phone that dies at 6 p.m. on a day when you need it to work than it is to have like a couple of millimeters worth of thickness. So I agree. The Huawei P20 Pro, I haven't had a chance to really look at anybody's videos or find out too much about that yet. I still have a Huawei Honor 7X in for review that I haven't had time to get to, but I'm going to get to soon. I am super impressed, with all the Huawei phones that I've used. So the P20, for the little that I've seen about it, looks really pretty cool. So there's that. No, Bradders, no, it doesn't matter if the PC's off and all that stuff. I mean, I never turn anything off, which is probably bad for my electric bill, but I just leave stuff on. So leaving the headset plugged in would be totally fine. I haven't tried, the only T-Mobile phone, well, geez, I don't think I've ever tried a T-Mobile phone. This is weird, but there are no T-Mobile stores within 250 miles of where I live. And I live in a pretty big college town. They have no retail presence, and that's always just kind of made me nervous in terms of like just not being able to access retail. So, yeah. I haven't tried many T-Mobile seems to have good deals, but yeah, they're not here, which makes me kind of weird. Struggling to hear. Okay. Let me just crank it a little bit more. Okay, I'm cranking it. How's that? Yeah, is good? Is good? Yeah. Sometimes I like to talk in these low tones. So, yeah, I started out with I think I started out with Sprint, and went to AT&T when I moved back to West Virginia, and then went back to AT&T, and then went to back to AT&T Verizon. Now I have a Verizon account and the family or my own business, quote unquote, account with AT&T. The one problem that I have with a Verizon is if I get phones in, like the Huawei phones or any phones that don't work on CDMA, then Verizon, I can't test the phones on the Verizon network. So I went and got an AT&T account. What made me start a YouTube channel? Man, that's a good question. I mean, I kind of signed up for YouTube when it first started because I was just watching all the crazy early YouTube stuff before Google had bought it, and was just really intrigued by this whole thing of people being able to make videos and put them up. And there's like no filter. So I kind of just did that, and I put a few videos up here and there that were just like, they weren't meant for general YouTube consumption. They're just videos that I had that I wanted to put up somewhere so people could see them. And around the time the PlayStation 4 came out, I had never had gaming headsets, and I wanted to play Battlefield 4 with a friend of mine who lives in Buffalo, who I've known for 20-something years now. And so I got a headset so that we could talk to each other, and I never anticipated that some gaming headsets could be as awful as they are. So I did a review of the one that I got, and then I did a review of I just started doing a bunch of reviews of headsets as I went to Best Buy and like got one, returned one, whatever. And people started watching those videos. So I just decided that I was going to start doing them as a hobby. Like I used to be a lot more social. I used to go out and do things that I don't do anymore a lot in terms of like hanging out and stuff like that. And so I was spending a lot more time at home. And so YouTube and playing video games were the two things that I did for the first couple of years that kind of kept me not from going insane. I've always been crazy, but I also kept like huge aquarium fish things. Furious Fox, man, you've been having a back and forth on the freaking conversations. What are they called? Comments. You love to hate me. Is that like? Well, I can only assume that you love to hate me, but that's okay. I appreciate the €229 super chat. Thank you, man. Least favorite flagship right now. Gosh. I can say that my most disappointing flagship is probably the Moto Z Force line, or the Moto Z line. The mid-range phones, the Play phones are really good. But I think that the whole Moto mod thing is just a total abortion. And I hope that, because Motorola makes really good phones and has for a really long time. And their version of Android, when the Moto X came out, and that phone was customizable and it had a pretty clean version of Android on it and everything else, like those were great phones. And I had one and I really liked it. And they were cheap. The Z line that they came out with next, the Moto mods are a good idea, but they haven't made the right Moto mods in my estimation. I mean, they made battery one and the speaker one's kind of cool, but the projector, I have no interest in a projector. I tried the Hasselblad camera thing, and it was better than the camera, and it did more than the camera on the Z, but it wasn't worth $300. I tell you what, if Motorola or somebody made an attachment for the phone that was a high quality DAC, like a Moto Mod high quality DAC with some serious stuff inside of it, I would be on the Moto bandwagon. That seems like low-hanging fruit to me, but they haven't really done the right things with that phone, and they can't seem to sell them either. No, I haven't seen the Porsche design, Kevin. I haven't seen that. I'll have to check that out. Let me scan back up here. Okay, so my audio is good now. What's my daily driver? At this moment, it's the S9 Plus in the Onyx, whatever they call it. And it's a really nice phone. It's a really nice phone. For those who have been here and checking me out for a little while, hanging out for a little while, they're going to know that I say the battery life is not so good on either of those phones, and that's really bumming me out. I thought I heard that the Note 8, well, maybe some of the carrier Note 8s have already been getting the Oreo update. I just saw a little bit ago something that said the S8 Active is actively now getting the Oreo update. I don't know about the timing for the unlocked phones. You would think that the unlocked phones would be able to get them sooner. So I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up. Curious Fox, man, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Like the comments are always just, at a certain point they just do whatever they're gonna do. Um, and I like it when people are interacting in the comments with themselves, like going back and forth, even if it's a little heated. I think that's better than like, just leaving say nothing comments for me or whatever. So I like it. Let me see. Would I ever try the portless challenge like Drew? Oh, I mean, I think the portless challenge is pretty cool, but I'm also kind of married to my headphones. Let's see, these wires, these things, and there isn't a dongle out there that sounds as good as a regular headphone jack. I've been planning on doing a video. I have a script written and I've got some stuff done with it, but doing a video that compares the iPhone 6S headphone jack versus the dongle. And the headphone jack sounds better. A lot of people say they can't hear it, but I could hear it. And it wasn't so much a quality of sound difference as much as like a sound stage difference. So do I think the Apple new generation of phones this year will be on top and make a comeback? I think Apple is always going to sell a ton of phones. I think they made a mistake last year in that the iPhone 10 came out late, not long after the 8 and 8 Plus, and the 7 and 7 Plus were still available, and the 6S and the 6S Plus and the SE, they were all available. And so when you release $1,000 phone with like 6 or 7 other options that people could consider, I think that's part of what hindered the success of the iPhone 10 in terms of sales. I think it's been a success as a phone. I like it, but yeah, I think they really need to rethink how many phones they have on the market at a given time. So if they're going to release 3 phones this year, at least one of them being like plus $1,000, it's going to be hard for them. The notch does not bother me all that much. I would prefer it's not there, but the benefit that I get from Face ID, which I really, really like, I guess I'm sort of agnostic about the notch. It's there. It's almost like a design feature right now. It differentiates the iPhone from all the rest of the phones out there, but I'm not a huge fan. So, Viper, man, thank you for the super chat, $4.99. How does an up-and-coming YouTuber like yourself get to be a guest on my live stream? Well, we'll have to talk about that. I've just been kind of pulling in people that were like people that I had met and knew, and kind of bringing them in. So I may expand it to other folks, and I do want to give some up and coming YouTubers a chance. I mean, it's at this point kind of really weird to me that I'm sort of not in that category. I'm still up and coming, but a year ago I had like 2,000 subscribers. So it's pretty weird to be in this position, and it's taken my brain a while to catch up. So I definitely am trying to think of ways to get that done, and I will keep you in mind and kind of keep in touch about when that could happen. Okay, so suddenly I'm in charge, Marshall, of a brand. One phone brand. Which would I choose, and how would I change next year's phone? I would choose, surprise, surprise, Apple. And I would make one flagship that was like maybe the 5.8 or the 6.1 inch phone in the design form that we have now with the iPhone 10. And then I would make an iPhone Pro that was maybe a little bit more durable and rugged and had a headphone jack and had a lot of the features that creatives want to use on their phones. And just make it, if they can call the iPad Pro a pro thing, then they could make an iPhone Pro, and that's what I would want to do. So, and then we could talk about computers and stuff. If Apple does not release a Pro standalone tower this year that's modular and meets the needs of creative professionals, I don't think people are going to be super satisfied with the iMac Pro for a long time. The iMac Pro is really cool, but I don't want to. Honestly, if I'm paying $5,000 to $10,000 for a computer, I want to be able to upgrade it and make sure that it's future proof to the point where it's not going to go outdated on me, and I haven't gotten my money's worth out of it, I guess. Tech for your needs says the only reason I didn't get the iPhone 10 is because of money. Yeah. I think if Apple would have just said, you know what, the new phone this year is this anniversary phone, and you can still get the 7 and the 7 Plus, and maybe the SE is still available, or the 6S Plus or something like that. If they force the consumers to have to make a choice out of fewer options, I think more people would have chosen the 10. But when the 8 and 8 Plus are really, really good phones, the best phones of that form factor that they'd released to that day, and then the iPhone 10 sort of comes in a couple of months later, it was exciting, but then I think a lot of people sort of said, oh, yeah, that's a lot of money. So yeah, I totally get it. What do I think of the crazy, Imad? What do I think of the crazy prices of flagships? I do not think that they will continue to increase like crazy. In fact, I think it's going to go in the opposite direction. I've talked to several of the people who work in the carrier stores here in my area, and I just asked them. I was like, so what happens to the carriers when people really start to figure out that something like the Huawei Honor 7X or the OnePlus phone is like the flagship killer, although I heard that might be $800 this year. But what happens when people realize that they can buy a phone outright without going to the carrier and financing, and that phone is like 90% as good as the one they're paying $1,000 for? I think that's when the market's going to change. So, Furious Fox, yeah, Apple's dividing its tools too much. They want customers to buy every product for every need. Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of what they do is they're sort of doubling down on this ecosystem where they know what they want you to have for different price tiers, for different use cases, et cetera, et cetera. And this past year, with the prices of the MacBook Pros, with the price of the iMac Pro, I mean, I'm not saying the iMac Pro, even just for the parts, isn't worth what they're asking for it. I just think the inability to upgrade it at all is what really sort of slowed my roll on the iPhone or the iMac Pro. HyperX Alpha, I love them, my friend. I have not been using them for gaming too much, but so I can't really speak to the crosstalk that I've heard a little bit about as well. But yeah, they would definitely work with the mix amp. I mean, really, the mix amp is what does all the magic if you're talking about surround sound and presets and stuff like that. So if you have a mix amp, and you can plug any headphone into it and get the sound that you want. the alphas have the bonus of having that mic that you can use, and you could do that easily. So yeah, the mix amp, all you have to do is figure out how to get mic and audio in and out, and you'll be fine. So it's pretty. The mix amp is a pretty cool tool. I still haven't tried the Turtle Beach TAC, and that looks like it has more features and is possibly a little cooler, but that headset combo thing just hasn't seemed to taken off for Turtle Beach. So I don't know about that. I mean, I tried the Turtle Beach Pro Elites or whatever they're called, and they are very, very nice headphones, very, very nice headset, and I can imagine with some kind of mixer like the TAC, they would be awesome. But the Mixamp and Astro, they kind of have the whole game tied up when it comes to high-end headphones. We do have the the Steel Series Arctis Pros that are out now, but I haven't had a chance to get my hands on those. I like the Arctis series, and so I'm anxious to see what the Pros are all about. But thanks for the question, Sturban. I appreciate it, man. Let's see. What did I miss anything? I don't know. Who's got more questions? Yeah, that price is too much for the price is too. I mean, it might be worth it in terms of what you get, but if it's true that they are breaking, then maybe not. Turtle Beach has always had trouble making quality products, and they seem to be getting a little bit better in the past year or so, but ultimately Turtle Beach has always had kind of a little bit of an issue with the quality department. So, Tech for Your Needs, the only mobile phone company that has the ecosystem locked down is Apple. No one can argue the integration. No, all of that is true. I mean, you go from the AirPods to the fact that the AirPods are connected to all of your Apple devices just once you pair them with a phone. That's really pretty darn slick, and that is indicative of the kind of attention that Apple pays to that kind of stuff. I think when you start to get into the HomePod and things like that, where it is like the HomePod to me is a really good sounding speaker, but it's also hamstrung to the point where it's not a product for everybody. And I always felt that Apple's sort of philosophy was making great products that everybody could use and make them easy to use. So the HomePod kind of goes against that in my mind. But I mean, maybe I'm not thinking about it right. Well, Pablo, I'm going to say that I have I didn't like the early Beats when it was like Dr. Dre and all that, and when they were partnered with Monster. Those headphones all up and down the line sounded like ass. It's totally true. However, since Apple has taken over Beats, the quality has gotten better. They've become less like banging trash cans with a lot of bass. They've become more balanced, and I had the Beats X, which I think were the first. No, maybe the Solo 3s were the first to have the W1 chip that's in the AirPods, and the W1 chip is like some sort of magic thing that Apple pulled out of the ether from somewhere. It is so much better than the Bluetooth stuff that's available from almost anyone else. It's you can walk 100 feet away from your phone and still be connected, whereas like with a lot of regular Bluetooth devices these days, you can't You can't get more than 10 feet away. So I tried the threes, the Solo threes. I tried the Beats X, and recently I had a brief amount of time to try out the new Solo wireless or Studio wireless. The new Studio wireless were pretty darn nice. So my thoughts about Beats have changed over the years. And if you haven't used them for a while, I would suggest if you're in the market for headphones, yes, they are expensive, but they do go on sale quite a bit too. So it's worth checking them out again if you're in the market. Like the Beats X as like a everyday comfortable headphone, they're pretty slick. So they're earbud like. They're sort of like AirPods if they had a cord that went around your neck, basically. I haven't tried excuse me. I need a little drink here. I haven't tried any Skull Candy headphones for a while. So I know my buddy Gameski is a big supporter of Skull Candy stuff, and I just haven't grabbed them for a while. Maybe I'll check them out because I always did like their headphones a lot. The Porta Pros, which are still available, I think. The Porta Pros are sort of one of those headphones. They look like garbage, but they're kind of sneaky good. Yeah, and I had a pair at some point long ago, and I don't have them anymore, but they are really good headphones. Rosetta, what do you think the future of the Apple Watch will be? That's a good question. You know, I think that the Apple Watch and smartwatches in general have the potential to play a pretty significant role once we move away from the form factor that we have of phones currently. You know, you can make and take phone calls on these watches now and everything else. A lot of people seem to feel like they are sort of a device without a real purpose, but I tried out recently the Gear S3 Classic from Samsung. It's very nice watch, just on its aesthetics alone, and I think the Gear S Classic and Frontier lines are really pretty cool, but they're gigantic watches. The Apple Watch has been the only watch that's been able to be successful to this point in the terms of just, you know, getting any kind of critical mass in the market. So I think they'll keep with it. And I think they'll start moving more and more features, or at least like cross-pollinating more and more features to the watch, and either sort of lifting them off of the phones or having them share more of the load. I think that's where it could go in the next, like, say, 3 to 5 years. So, Imad, all of these Bluetooth codecs, you know, I know that aptX is better than what came before. The W1 chip that Apple uses is more of a software/hardware delivery system that's different than what most have, as far as I can tell. I don't know what the differences are between the different codecs, and I think that Bluetooth is getting better, but it's not all the way there yet. Apple with the W1 chip in their newest line of stuff is better than any other Bluetooth headphones that I've used. I mean, I've got my AirPods paired to the S9 Plus, and it's pretty darn like, it's still kind of take them out of the packet, out of the little box, and put them in your ears, and they connect. They do all that stuff. I don't think Samsung has headphones that do that. In the Icon X line, I tried the originals. Maybe the new ones are better, but the Icon X line was nothing special at all. Samsung doesn't seem to be able to do accessories for their phones as well as Apple does. So Patrick asking, what didn't win me over with the iPhone 10 and the Galaxy? I think ultimately I was kind of insulted by the price of the iPhone 10, but I bought 2 of them at this point. The Galaxy, like for last year's, like the S8, S8 Plus, and Note 8, I really struggled with the security features, and struggling with the security features eventually became like a really like no-go big deal for me. Love the devices, but Samsung's devices have always been a little fiddly and hard to get set up. The S9 and S9 Plus are easier to set up than, for some reason, somehow, I have been able to get this phone working like I would want it to work and feeling pretty comfortable with it within the first week, more than the first week. So I think that Samsung's figuring something out. It's just taking them a while. Like, and the Bixby button, what's that all about? T Flynn 124, yes, prices do have to come down for Apple devices. I mean, Apple devices have always been super expensive. I mean, the Mac Pros of the 2000 aughts, those things were all super expensive, and that doesn't even count the monitors. Even the Apple II was like $5,000 or something crazy. But now I see, like I made a video about this earlier this week with this new iPad at, $299 for students and $329 for the regular folks, and it's got a good chip in it. It's got pencil support, I guess. That to me is one of the first times that I've seen Apple say we're going to actively make something good that's cheaper to hopefully capture a market, and with the education stuff, do something good for people and not make money hand over fist. So yeah, I think that they're on the way. And I think that the iPad is going to kind of be like that bridge device that can work in the same ways as a computer laptop might work, but is also more versatile in terms of being sort of like a tablet, sort of all-consuming thing. And if they had them at low price points, like I know $329 is not as cheap as like an Amazon Fire tablet or something like that, but Android has announced that they're no longer going to support tablet stuff on the next iteration of Android. So yeah, I think I think they need to get there, and I think they're trying. Rosetta, I think Apple will come out with this mythical 6.5 inch iPhone 10-ish, whatever it's going to be called. A 6.5 inch OLED super AMOLED screen. Is it? Anyway, super. That will be an amazing phone, and I think it will be amazingly too expensive, but I'm hoping not. AirPods 2. Will it, I don't know. I haven't heard much about AirPods 2. The original AirPods are pretty darn good, but yeah, I know what you're saying with wanting water resistance and stuff like that. I just don't know what Apple's going to do. I'd like to see again, sort of like AirPod Pros, that do a little bit better with sound. Not that they sound bad, they just don't sound great. They're like a great everyday headphone, but not the best. I'd pay $250 or $300 for something that sounded a little bit better. So, video every day in April. Well, if this counts as a video, then I'm on the right track. Yeah, I work a full-time job that, you know, I'm a teacher and administrator at the university here in my town. Teach creative writing and stuff like that. And so that does take a lot of my time. I'm also father, husband, all those things. Those things take my time. I have done daily videos in the past, and man, it takes a lot. But if you make daily videos on YouTube, and Viper, this might be something for you if you wanna start growing. If you make daily videos on YouTube, the algorithm starts to take notice of you and starts to push you out a little bit more. And you know, the algorithm is like some sort of magical incantation. Nobody knows how and why it works the way it does, and YouTube doesn't say. But there is evidence that shows that people who make daily content do better. Now, whether it's just because they have more content or because it's doing something for their channel by being there every day, it's all good. So maybe I will try. I will say that I will try. I have 3 scripts written, and I've got a couple of videos already half made, so maybe I'm almost there. But the thing is, I don't want to I don't want to sacrifice quality for quantity. And when I was making daily videos for a while there, back toward the end of last year, I started to feel like I just wasn't doing as well. So let's see. I'm going to scroll back up here. Well, if Apple corners the market of education by providing good stuff for a reasonable price, I've spent a lot of time involved in education, and I really think that technology is a huge key. So if a company like Apple is going to put some effort behind getting good materials into the hands of students that might not be able to have them otherwise, I'm all for it. And I'll still complain about the expensive phones or whatever, but if this works and they do good for kids and families, then yeah. Yeah. So Taylosive did start making a ton of videos. The thing that I sort of am jealous of with Drew is that he started making these YouTube videos and he's been on YouTube for a while, and he started making videos when he was young in high school. And then when he was like 18 or 19 years old, he decided that he'd sort of made enough headway that he was going to just try and make a go of it. And I would do that in a second if I had the success that I have right now and I was his age. I'd be like full-time YouTube and just busted my ass on it 24/7. But you know, Drew is 25 years younger than me, and so it's gonna take a while for me to get to a place where I'll be able to do it full time. I would love to do it full time because that would free up time for me to do the other creative things that I do and haven't had as much time to do since I started doing more YouTube. Like, I've got a book that's finished that I just need to go through and do one more edit through. I've got a record that I want to record. I've been in this creative game for quite a long time. And the fact that I'm as old as I am and I keep doing it tells me that it's what I'm supposed to be doing. But yeah, I think, here I am at 42,000 subs, and I'm making some money at it, but it's not like income replacement money at this point. And I don't know. This is the first year that I've made enough money that I'd be able to get a sense of that. So it might be a while before I could do it. As a family, we've got all kinds of financial obligations. Maybe I could, make some dents in some of that. We'll see. I would love to do it full time, but I don't know when that might be possible. So you're going to do a video every single day this month, eh, Viper? Well, I'm tempted. I'm going to try it. But if you see me like on April 15th, just looking like I can't drag my face off my desk, that might be when I have to take a day off or something. Do I use Windows or Mac more daily? So right now I'm using a Windows PC. I've had this PC in various forms now for 3 years. It's i7 6700K, which I haven't overclocked yet, but it's a good video machine. And it didn't cost me anything near what an iMac would cost, not to say like even an iMac Pro. So right now I'm working more on PC for this creative stuff, but I have right here like an old Mac Pro that I bought, and that's my Mac for home, and I use a MacBook Pro from 2015 for work. So I use both pretty regularly, but in terms of like the creative stuff that I'm doing right now, sitting here at this desk, it's this PC that I've been using for a while. Do I feel like the lower priced Apple stuff is a slippery slope? Well, yeah, I think watering down the brand is kind of what we saw with the iPhones this year. But if they target the lower price stuff in the right way, I think it'll be okay. There's still going to be people who are willing to buy the $1,200, iPad Pro. I would assume. I mean, you're not getting the same iPad for $329 that you do for $800 or $1,200. So I think there's enough space there. But if they try to serve all masters, then they will have a problem. And the iPhones have sort of looked like that. So I hope that they don't. Talking boy, thank you, man. I'm glad I don't look that old. I don't know if I believe you, but no, man. Creativity is like the thing that got me through a lot when I was younger. And so I've always been a creative person. I've always been creating something nearly every day. YouTube has kind of folded its way into that. And so now it's like being more successful on YouTube has really energized me to like keep going and keep doing things and try and do as much as I possibly can. So yeah, I feel like I do have some fire within me, but I do think I have some maybe acid reflux or something. So Gary, using the game ones with GSX 1000. I don't know if you'd have a huge gain switching to the DT990s. I've used the DT770s, and I like them okay, and they are nice headphones. I have not had a chance to hear the game ones, but if the game ones, I assume the game ones are sort of like the 598s and 599s. And I have the HD 600s, and those are all three really, really nice headphones. So the DT990s will have a different sound signature, but I think you're in good shape with the game ones if gaming is one of your main goals with having a headset like that. Have you heard about serial credit? The life notation thing in the back. I've watched all the Black Mirror episodes, but I can't remember what that was. Social credit. Oh. Social credit. So you're talking about the one that had Bryce Dallas Taylor, whatever her name is, the redheaded young lady. Yeah. That really does frighten me, and we really aren't very far away from it. And this right here, this whole YouTube live stream thing is one of those things. I just went to see Ready Player One last night. I reread the book before I went to see the movie, and the book was released like 7 or 8 years ago, and so much of what was sort of on the edge of possibility has started to become like really close to reality. And so that was kind of a mind blower. I'm going to do a review of the movie here. I wrote a script for it, but was too tired to sit down in front of the camera, so I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to try and get a few videos recorded tomorrow so that I can have stuff to put out throughout the week, since I've now just committed myself to video a day for the month. So we'll see, I guess. I haven't tried the GSP 300s. I've reviewed Sennheiser stuff in the past, and I just missed the window on reviewing those. Like, they didn't have any more review units when I was asking, but I do want to try them. I've tried the 373Ds, which were USB only, and I like those. The Alphas are a good headset, and they're good headphones. I really enjoy them. So for $99, you can't really get much better than the HyperX Alpha. Thoughts on the direction of the smartwatch market? Well, I talked about this just a little bit ago, but I'll expound slightly more. I think smartwatches other than the Apple Watch are pretty much dead. Like I said, I got a chance to try the Gear S3 Classic, and it's a beautiful watch, and it works incredibly well. But at $350, depending on if you get it on sale, it's a lot of money if you're not Apple. I realize that the Apple Watch costs just as much, but people seem to be willing to spend, within reason, a certain amount of money on Apple stuff that they're not willing to spend on other companies. That's just the way it seems to me. Like, $350 for an Apple product doesn't seem as crazy as it does for some other companies in my mind. I don't know why that is. Smartwatches are kind of like Android tablets at this point. Like, there are not going to be any more Android tablets. And, there was a time when there was the Pebble. There were, all kind of startup smartwatch companies. Pebble was super cool, but is now defunct. LG and Huawei and a bunch of other companies making smartwatches. The Moto 360. The Moto 360 was a cool smartwatch, but Android, Google and never put a lot of, like, they made some effort into Android Wear, and then they didn't put some effort into it, and then now they're coming back and they're calling it Wear, whatever they're calling it. I don't know. They're renaming it, but they got to do something. They don't support their stuff consistently enough, and I think that really hurt the smartwatch market. Hey, Justin, how's it going, man? It's good to see you. Did you get the package? Is everything in good shape? Um, I like the sport motivation of the Apple Watch. I like to when I don't have one right now, but when I did, uh, closing the rings was motivational to me. Um, Imad, yeah, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it. So I thought they shut down the Pebble servers. Um, oh, okay. So after Fitbit shut down the servers, they're still supporting it. Oh yeah, the Logitech gaming headphones are good. Usually they make them that as more specifically built for PC use and not for cross-platform. But yeah, I tried the Logitech. What are they? The 933s that have been out for a while, and they were pretty sweet. A little. The big problem I had with them was that they somehow the weight distribution made them fall off the back of my head all the time, and I wasn't the only one that had that problem. But I don't remember which model you were looking at, but they do make great. Logitech makes great stuff, and I've been really excited. Um, Logitech has been sending me stuff here for a few weeks, a month or so now, and it's really cool to get to be able to check out Logitech's stuff. Uh, they do support PS4. I do know that those Logitech headphones because I've used them on PS4, so you won't have a problem there. It's usually with Xbox that problems arise because of the way Xbox deals differently with audio. I don't know why we can't all just decide on something and make it all universal, but c'est la vie. Um, yeah, so it's almost 8 o'clock my time, and how long have I been doing this? Justin, I don't know why Xbox audio is so messed up. I mean, PlayStation audio used to be a little iffy, like in the PlayStation 3 days too, but now that Xbox is what seems to be the problem. Disturbing. I don't know if it works with if it has its own sort of mix amp thing or if it is detachable from that. If it does, any headphones will work with the mix amp. Uh, if you have another mic, etc., etc. Um, there are lots of ways to connect things to the mix amp to make it work. Um, so yeah, you can buy like audiophile headphones and the Antlion mod mic, and just about do anything that you want and get a Y splitter that'll put them together going into the mix amp. So, but Justin's saying that they use proprietary cables. Tony, hey man, thanks for being here. I am working on guests. I've been talking to a few people, and we just haven't been able to nail stuff down. And like I said earlier, I'm trying to figure out some ways of maybe bringing some other folks on, and sort of going like right now. I've been kind of reaching people that are my size or slightly larger to come and be on. Maybe it's time to start bringing some folks who are still building up. I don't know. We're looking. I'm thinking, but I haven't got anything solid just yet. So anyway, I realized, Justin, that you just got here, but I've been doing this for what, an hour and a half or so or something. So something, and I'm starting to wear down. So I don't want to lose my voice and not be able to make these videos every day that I promise. Juan has been really, really great. I enjoy having him on. He's super smart and knows his stuff and is really fun to bounce back and forth all kinds of different ideas. So I really enjoy having Juan on. And the same with John Prosser from Front Page Tech, and I really enjoyed having Drew from Tailosive Tech on too. So, you know, one thing that I've been impressed with all the YouTubers that I've come in contact with as my channel's grown is they're all just like super nice, super outgoing and helpful, and it's just been cool to kind of be able to join that community a little bit and start to branch out and make friends. So, Sturbin, thank you. You have a good one too. Furious Fox, it's 3 a.m. in France. That means it's tomorrow. Goodbye to everyone else. Universal goodbye to you, my friend, as well. And everybody else who's been here, I really do appreciate it. If you missed some of the stream, it'll be back up and watchable here not too long from now, after YouTube gets done doing what it's going to do with it. I really do appreciate you guys stopping in. It's been fun to talk for a bit, and I will keep doing this kind of stuff. If I get stuck in this every day in April thing, I'll just do a live stream, and you guys can come on and ask me questions. How's that? Anyway, it's been good hanging out with all you guys. So much for the super chats, for the folks who dropped some super chats on me. I really do appreciate that. And I will be back tomorrow with another video. Until the next time, I'm out.